The Richest Man in Babylon. 7 Rules to Build Wealth. Part 1. What if the reason you never seem to have enough money has nothing to do with your income? What if the real problem is that your purse has never been taught to grow? Almost 100 years ago, George S. Clason told a series of stories set in ancient Babylon. Through those stories, he revealed the money rules that transformed a poor scribe named Arcad into the richest man in the city. The first rule is simple. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. But most people hear that advice, agree with it, and still remain broke. In this first part, you will learn the first 4 cures for a lean purse. And at the end, I will reveal the lesson that connects saving money to creating real wealth. Arcad was not born rich. He did not inherit a fortune. He did not begin with powerful connections. He was a scribe, a man who earned money by writing and recording information for others. But every day, he watched wealthy people pass through the city. They lived in beautiful homes. They wore expensive clothing. They traveled in comfort. Their families had security. Arcad worked just as hard as they did. So one day, he asked himself a painful question. Why should some people have all the gold while others work hard and remain poor? That question changed his life. Instead of blaming his employer, the city, or bad luck, Arcad searched for someone who understood wealth. He found Algamish, a wealthy moneylender. Arcad asked him to teach him how to become rich. Algamish gave him the first lesson. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. Not what remains after spending, not what survives at the end of the month. A part of everything you earn. Algamish told Arcad to save 1 coin out of every 10. That meant 10%. If Arcad earned 10 coins, 1 belonged to his future. He could live on the remaining 9. At first, this sounds easy, but most people immediately say, I cannot afford to save 10%. Clason understood this excuse. The problem is that expenses expand until they consume everything available. When your income rises, your lifestyle usually rises with it. A larger paycheck becomes a larger apartment, a better phone, more restaurants, more subscriptions, more things that feel necessary because you have become used to them. This is why saving what is left over rarely works. There is usually nothing left over. The first cure is to save before your money disappears. Take 10% from every paycheck and place it somewhere separate. Do not treat it as spending money. Treat it as the seed of your future fortune. The amount may seem small. That is not the point. The point is that you are teaching your purse to grow. A tree begins with a seed. Wealth begins with the first coin you refuse to spend. Saving 10% is only the beginning. The second cure is to control your expenditures. This does not mean refusing every pleasure. It means separating your true needs from your constantly expanding desires. Clason presents an important idea. Your necessary expenses will always grow to match your income unless you deliberately control them. Think about that. When you earned less, you believed you needed less. When you earned more, new expenses appeared. The danger is not that you spend money. The danger is that you allow every desire to disguise itself as a necessity. A budget is not supposed to punish you. A budget protects what matters most. It protects your savings from casual spending. It protects your future house from today's impulse purchases. It protects your freedom from expenses that provide pleasure for a moment, but create pressure for years. Here's a simple exercise. For the next 30 days, divide every expense into 2 categories, needs and desires. Do not judge yourself. Just record the truth. At the end of the month, you will see exactly where your money is going. Then ask one question. Which expenses are helping me build the life I want, and which ones are quietly stealing it? But saving and budgeting alone will not make you wealthy. You can save money for years and still remain financially weak. Why? Because money that simply sits still is not yet working for you. That brings us to the third cure. Before we continue, subscribe to Money Mindset Library if you want more narrated lessons on wealth, discipline, and financial psychology. And stay until the end, because Part 2 will reveal the 5 laws of gold, the rules that determine whether your money stays with you or quietly disappears. The third cure is this: make thy gold multiply. Once you begin saving, your money must become productive. A saved coin is valuable because it can become the beginning of a stream. That coin can be invested. It can earn a return. That return can be added to the original amount. Then the larger amount can earn more. This is the power of compounding. Clayson described it through the language of Babylon, but the principle remains the same today. Your money should work while you sleep. However, this does not mean chasing every opportunity that promises fast profits. It means learning how to place your money where it can grow responsibly. A person who saves but never learns may eventually lose their savings. A person who saves, studies, and invests carefully gives their money a chance to multiply. The first coin is the worker. The return it produces becomes another worker. Then those workers produce more workers. That is how a small purse gradually becomes a powerful one. The fourth cure is a warning. Guard thy treasures from loss. Many people want their money to grow quickly. That desire makes them vulnerable. They hear promises of guaranteed returns. They trust strangers with their savings. They invest in businesses they do not understand. Then they discover that the possibility of a large reward usually comes with the possibility of a large loss. Clayson tells the story of a brickmaker who was trusted to purchase valuable jewels. The problem was obvious. The man knew bricks, not jewels. His intentions may have been good, but good intentions do not replace knowledge. The lesson is clear. Do not invest in what you do not understand. Before giving your money to an investment, ask, how does it make money? What could cause it to lose money? Who is responsible for protecting my investment? What experience does the person giving me advice actually have? If the answers are unclear, slow down. The desire to become rich quickly can make people careless with the money they worked slowly to earn. Protecting your principal is more important than chasing excitement. Arcad followed the first lessons. He saved a portion of his income. He controlled his expenses. He began making his money productive. And he became more careful about who received his savings. But he still had more to learn. The first time he invested, he trusted the wrong person and lost his money. That failure could have convinced him that investing was dangerous. Instead, Arcad treated the loss as tuition. He had learned something important. Saving money is not enough. Earning money is not enough. Even investing money is not enough. You must also develop the wisdom to protect and direct it. This is where most people stop. They learn how to earn, but not how to keep. They learn how to save, but not how to grow. They chase opportunities, but never study the rules behind them. Arcad continued learning, and that decision changed the size of his future. In this first part, you learned 4 cures. Start your purse to fattening. Control your expenditures. Make your gold multiply. Guard your treasures from loss. But these rules are only the beginning. The final 3 cures reveal how to turn money into long-term security, how to increase your ability to earn, and how to build a future that does not depend entirely on your next paycheck. Then come the 5 laws of gold, the rules that explain why money stays with some people and escapes from others. That is where the real test begins. Subscribe and return for part 2 of The Richest Man in Babylon. And before you leave, comment below. Which cure is hardest for you? Saving, controlling expenses, growing money, or protecting it?